Welcome, yogis, to this Vinyasa flow class. Today we'll be getting into some standing and balancing postures, so it'll help you with stability and connecting to your feet. For practice today, I would consider this an all levels class. If you are newer to the practice of yoga, this will be definitely accessible. We will be using a strap today, so if you have something strap-like, grab that. And blocks are always a good support for your practice, so keep those nearby as well. Other than that, I am excited to get started. We'll see you on the mat. Practice today will begin in a seat. If you'd like to use a block to sit yourself on top of, that might make it a little bit easier, so you don't need to work so hard to keep your spine upright. Once you get settled, close your eyes. Feel the weight grounding on your two sits bones. And think about lengthening by moving your heart into the roof of your mouth. Soften your shoulders, relax your jaw, and leave a little space between the teeth. Think about expanding your breath in all directions, forward and back, side to side, and up and down. Balance the length and strength of each breath. As you're ready, lower your chin down to your chest and start by rolling your left ear over to the left shoulder. Come back through center, right ear to right shoulder. Guide this back and forth, ensuring you still have that little space between your teeth. If you're feeling any particular space that needs a little more time, you can linger there and even move the head a little bit back and forth to access the sticky spots. A few more of these. Eventually the chin will come back down to center. Lift your head straight up and blink your eyes open if they're not already. So we'll do a little stretch for the jaw. First, let's just take the fingers, bring them up to your jaw, and just massage out a little bit. Feel those chewing muscles and just knead into it a little bit. You might also get into this little space kind of behind the jawbone. Being gentle, of course, as you press, but just exploring the area a bit. You might also like pulling on the earlobe, just getting a little stretch in the ear canal. And then we'll use a little pressure to stretch the jaw. So the goal is to have the jaw really soft. You'll take the heel of your hand up to the right cheekbone, or not cheekbone, but jawbone. And then you'll just press it over to the left. You'll release the pressure and push. Doing that a few times. The movement might be minor or small, but that's okay. Just play with it. All ready, we'll just switch sides. Left hand to the jawbone on the left side. And then just little pulses of pressure. All right, when you're satisfied, let that go. Roll your jaw around a little bit. All right. Sit up tall. Acknowledge if you've lost the tall seat and just return to it. And then we'll simply drape left ear to left shoulder. Take your left hand on top of your head, not so much to pull, but just to add the weight of your arm. And then if you're still seeking a little more, the right hand can drape by your side, either the fingers grazing the earth or simply reaching. Maintain full breath and feel the subtle rise and fall of your shoulders. Take a few more breaths, seeing if you can soften a little bit more. To come out, we'll start by moving the left hand off the head first. Allow your head to come back up to neutral, and we'll switch sides. Right ear over to right shoulder. The right hand comes on top of the head just to add a little bit of weight. And if you desire it, the left arm will reach out to the side. Last couple breaths. To come out, start with the hand on your head. Bring your head back upright. And then if it would feel good, you could roll the shoulders out a little bit. Shrug the shoulders out. And then we're going to come down onto our back. I'll show you what we're going to do first, just so you have a better visual. This is an exercise for the serratus muscle, which is a group of muscles here that connect sort of into the side of the ribs and into the shoulder blade. So it helps keep the shoulder blades on your back, stabilizing the shoulder. When we lay down on the floor, we're essentially going to take this reversed field goal arm, so one arm up, the other down, pressing the back of the hand and the palm respectively into the ground, just holding for a brief moment or two, and then swapping the arms. So as you're ready, we'll come to lay down on our back. And then you could keep your feet on the floor with your knees bent. And then find that reverse field goal. Doesn't matter which arm is lifted first. Give a little pressure into the ground with the palm and the back of the hand. And then switch. Press for 2 or 3 seconds and switch. So you can just keep doing these at your own rate. But what I do want you to be aware of is how the shoulders are showing up differently. It is very, very common for the shoulders to be different and asymmetrical, depending on what is your dominant hand, how you drive, how you might sit in a chair, right? If you slouch on one side or the other, that's all going to affect the shoulder. Also notice if you're only able to get the fingertips down, right? See if you can flatten the palm a little bit more and keep the wrist flat, so fingers to elbow is one line. Just a couple more of these. Notice if you're hunching your shoulders towards your ears. See if you can relax those down and away. Space for your neck. All right. We'll let this go. Guide your knees into your chest and we'll make some circles. So you could try taking your knees in opposite circles, both directions, of course. You could also play with moving the knees together in big circles around. Again, playing with both directions, seeing how these different variations target different spots in your hip and back. Roll around in any way that feels good. And ultimately, we're going to take a rock and roll up and down the length of the spine, making your way into a tabletop. As you get there, grip your fingers into the earth, engage your palms, tuck your toes, and lift up and back to downward facing dog. Find some stillness in your dog. Extend your heels towards the ground. Push through your hands, feeling the shoulder blades elevate. So in other words, they are rising towards your ears. But at the same time, take some yeses and nos with your head just to prove that that space is relaxed. Ground in your breath. And then in your down dog, see if you can lift all 10 toes away from the floor. Heels send down heavy towards the earth, but the toes are lifting. And a breath in, rise up onto the tiptoes, and take a walk forward to the top of your mat. Interlace your fingers into the eyes of your elbows and hang heavy in a ragdoll. It may be useful to bob and sway a bit, and keeping just a subtle bend in the knees, being nice and gentle to your low back. All you're doing here is allowing gravity to help you out. Allow your arms to dangle towards the earth. Take a breath in for a half lift, flat spine. Breath out and fold forward. Rise up to stand. Sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart on empty breath. Now again, inhale, extend your arms. And I invite you to keep your arms a bit wider. Acknowledge how that helps you to drop your shoulders down your back. Lift up through your gaze, and then even close your eyes. See what it feels like to have your arms wide, right? Imagining you're holding the sun in your hands. Breathe into this space. On inhales, ground down through your feet. On exhales, elevate, lift, reach towards the sky. Again, the inhales, energy moves down to your feet. On the exhale, it rebounds back up and out the fingertips. Take one more full breath in. On an exhale, fold forward, arms drape down towards the earth. Take a flat back, and again, come onto tented fingertips. If you need to bend your knees to get the fingers down there, by all means. And if you have blocks handy, the floor is far away, feel welcome to keep the blocks up front so you can use those as support. Send your left leg back like a supported warrior 3, standing on your right leg and kicking your left heel back. Slowly bend your right knee, reach your left toes towards the back of the mat for 3, 2, and 1. Drop your back knee down, low lunge. Inhale, the arms sweep up. Now once again, explore widening your arms. It just feels good. Lift up through the fingers. Lift up through the side waist. And squeeze your inner thighs together for stability. Take one more full breath in. Exhale, the hands come down to frame your front foot. Step back, plank pose. All right, now we're coming down to knees, chest, chin. That involves a bend of the knees, an arch of the low back like cow pose. And then you'll bend your elbows, bring your chest and chin down, keeping the big back bend. Slide forward, cobra pose, inhale. Exhale, lower your chest back down. Push back through a child's pose, and right away, tuck your toes and lift downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Inhale, float your left leg up and back behind you, 3-leg dog. Curl your knee to your chest, round your upper back, and step your foot between your hands. Lower your back knee. Inhale, arms come up, low lunge. Again, hug your inner thighs towards one another. And you might also try dragging your left heel towards the back of your mat. Feel this kind of suctioning up of the earth, and again, further grounding and stabilizing. It's a full breath in, lift up, reach up. Breath out, hands float back down to the earth, step forward to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow forward. Press through your feet, rise all the way up to stand, extend your arms. Exhale, hands to heart. Again, inhale, sweep to sky. Exhale, swan dive forward, chest to thighs. Half lift on tented fingers. This time the right leg sweeps back like supported warrior 3. So again, you're coming back to a lunge. Move slow, reach back for 3, bend your standing leg for 2, and land, last 1. Drop your back knee, inhale, arms up. Engage the legs. Press your feet into the ground while rebounding upwards. Take a breath in. Breath out, hands come back down to the mat. Lift your back knee and step your left foot to plank. Bend your knees, arch your back, knees, chest, chin. Bend the elbows and lower. Slide forward, cobra pose. Exhale, lower down. Press back through child's pose. Tuck your toes and it's right back to downward facing dog. 3 cycles of breath. Press down through your thumb and pointer finger, trying to spiral inner palm towards the ground. And then it's an inhale, sweep your right leg high to sky. Take your knee forward, round your back, step your foot between the hands, and the back knee drapes down. Inhale, arms up. Ground by pressing your feet into the earth. Contain the front body by moving your sternum in and thinking about breathing behind your heart. On the next exhale, bring your hands right back down to the earth. Step forward to fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Rise to stand, sweep your arms high. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a full breath through your nose. A grounding breath out. Chair pose. Sink low as the arms extend high. Now here in chair, you can decide whether you want your feet hips width apart or together. The difference being stability in the knee. So if your feet are apart, I recommend hugging out and feeling this nice work and stabilization in the outer hip and glute. If your feet are together, the knees work as a barrier for one another. So if you squeeze in, you get all this nice engagement in the inner thigh and still stabilization in a different way. Draw your navel in and sink a little deeper, feeling that your weight is mid-foot and towards your heel. All right, take your hands to your heart. Stand tall on your left leg as your right knee comes to chest. Drape your right leg over the left for eagle legs. Now you've got the option to ground your right toes, to simply glue the ankle to the outer left leg, or maybe the toes wrap around. For the full posture, right arm under left arm for eagle arms. Squeeze your thighs together while trying to rip your arms apart, and then it's elbows forward and fingertips up. Breathe big, expansive breaths through your back body. Unravel to an airplane. Right leg goes back, the arms reach back, and you're thinking about this like cobra pose, curling your gaze forward and up while the back leg is parallel towards the floor. Step your right foot way back, crescent lunge, arms overhead. Stabilize again by spreading your toes and pressing your feet into the ground. And then again, it's airplane. Take flight. Reach your arms back and squeeze your upper back together. Imagine you had a pencil between your shoulder blades. Again, step back, crescent lunge, arms sweep high. Square your hips by engaging your inner thighs. One more time, airplane, fly forward. Step back, crescent lunge, breathe in, arms up. Breathe out, hands come down to the floor. Step back, plank pose. This time, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale back to down dog. Take a breath in, sweep your left leg high to sky. Curl your knee in, step the foot forward, and open to warrior two. General stance here for warrior two. Front heel should intersect with midfoot or the heel of your back foot. Rib cage should be right on top of the pelvis. A lot of times what we see here is a rib cage that's kind of surfing forward. So you might just take a peek, see if it's possible to peel the rib cage back and keep that stacked line. Last couple breaths. Push down through your feet, feel your glutes engage. And then you'll straighten your front leg. Turn your left toes in so you're in a wide leg stance, adjusting the feet so that they're on the same line. Hinge forward 90 degrees. Keep your flat back first, extend out through the arms, and lift through your navel. Float your hands down to the earth and come into a wide leg fold. Drape down towards the ground. If your head reaches the floor or maybe a block, press down to the top of your head to get even more length. Come back up onto your palms. Bend your right knee and slide into Skandasana. That might mean turning your right toes out. That might mean turning your left toes towards the sky so you can sink a little deeper. We can take the left tented fingers inside the left leg, reach the right arm wide, and then guide yourself forward to side angle. The right foot will become more parallel with the back edge of the mat. Left fingers can either be inside the foot or maybe it's elbow to thigh. Block is always available to you underneath your hand if you prefer. Now again here, think about breathing behind your heart. Sink your sternum into your body and feel how that helps to flatten the front of the posture. On an exhale, rise up to warrior two. Flip your front palm to reverse back. And come down to runner's twist, maybe sweeping the hands. Right hand down, left arm high, let the back heel lift. Squeeze your glutes as you extend your right heel back and your left knee forward. Take your left hand down to the mat. Step back to plank. And then again, knees, chest, chin. Bend the knees, arc the back, bend your elbows. Slide forward, cobra pose. Lower your chest down, push back through a child's pose, and right away, back to downward facing dog. Take 5 breaths. If you need a child's pose, by all means, linger in child's. If you're down, start to think about coming back to down dog. And then you decide either a walk or a hop to the top of your mat to fold. Breathe in, lift halfway. Breathe out, fold forward. Rise to stand, sweep your arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Once again, it's chair pose. Sink low and extend your arms overhead. Decide mindfully if you're going to have your feet hips width or together. Whichever you choose, it's either feet hugging out if the feet are wide or hugging in if the feet are together. Now notice how the work changes as your hands come to your heart. Open your collarbones a little bit more. Sit your weight back a little bit more. And imagine that you could close the gap between your two sits bones. We'll prepare for our balance. Find something to look at. Bring your weight into your right foot and the left knee will come up to your chest. Drape your left leg up and over the right leg for eagle legs with the kickstand by gluing ankle to outer leg, or maybe the toes wrap around. Left arm under right arm for the full pose. And then again, elbows away and fingertips up. Sink as low as you can. Squeeze your thighs together. Hold your gaze beyond your arms. Airplane, hold the balance but unravel. Arms back, left leg hovers. Notice where the weight is on your standing foot. We want to be grounded on all four corners, but maybe shying a little bit towards the razor edge of the foot. Sink back to crescent lunge, landing on the ball of your back foot and the arms extend. So we're always careful of the placement of the knee. Sometimes what happens is we collapse in the arch of the foot and the knee ends up aiming inward. So that cue to be more towards the razor edge is going to load the outer leg and ideally keep the knee in a healthier place. Once again, take flight, airplane. The arms reach back as the left toes, the left leg extends towards the back of the mat. And then again, crescent lunge. Land and extend your arms up. Last one, airplane, take flight. Hold the gaze up, curl the shoulders up. And then crescent lunge. Take an inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to mat. Step back, plank pose, chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Breathe in, sweep your right leg high and back behind you. Curl your knee in, place your foot between your hands, and rise to a warrior 2. So you make your little bits of adjustments, checking where your front foot is in relation to the back foot. Press your feet into the earth, especially your back foot. In this pose, it's easy to load the front leg. So by pushing your back foot into the ground, it's just going to take a little bit of weight out of the front leg. Rotate through your shoulders, attempting to get the collarbones a little bit more in line with the long edge of your mat. Straighten your front leg. Pivot your right toes in so you're in a wide leg stance. And then once more, we'll hinge 90 degrees and hold there. Keep the weight a little bit towards the toes. Draw your navel up and in, and keep the wrist creases lifted. One final inhale. Exhale, the hands come down, the spine drapes down, and you take a forward fold. You might enjoy walking your hands between your legs and further extending the crown of your head towards the earth. At the same time, you'll try engaging your quads and see if that too cues the hamstrings to let go. Walk your hands back under your shoulders. As you prepare for Skandasana, the left toes could turn out. Bend your left knee and either stay more lifted or turn your right toes to the sky and sink a bit deeper. The right fingers can tent inside the right leg as your left arm reaches open. Glide forward, side angle, either elbow to thigh, hand to floor, or block. And again, little bits of adjustments. Back foot gets parallel with the short edge. Your sternum melts into your back body. And then there's a spiraling. Gaze towards the sky, left ribs towards the sky. On an exhale, rise up, warrior two. Be weary of coming out of the front knee. Instead, drive it forward. Flip your front palm, maintain as you reverse. And then we'll try to skip the earth as you come down a runner's twist. Right hand sweeps back, the left hand comes down, and then right arm to sky. Your back heel will spin up. Navel draws in, and there's a spiral of the torso. Keep your back leg nice and strong, active and engaged. And then the right hand floats back down to the earth. Step your right foot back to plank. Knees, chest, chin. Bend the knees, arc the back, bend the elbows and lower. Slide forward, cobra pose. Exhale to lower down. Press all the way back, child's pose. Now in this child's, I want your head to come down and then the arms to drape back behind you. So let's get the thighs a little bit more towards parallel. The spine will round over your lap. And again, the arms drape back towards your feet. Notice the barrier that is your thighs. As you expand your breath into your belly, you get access to these places in your side body, in your back body. At the same time, getting a little bit of flushing out, clearing out of the abdomen, the digestive system. We'll take this posture into our rabbit pose by taking the hands to your heels. So it's like the thumb is pointing down, the fingers are wrapped around the heels. As you lift your hips away from your heels, you'll roll to the top of your head. Keep the grip on your heels strong and keep expanding your back forward, rounding the spine and root down to the top of your head. Linger for a few breaths. And as you're ready, lower your hips back down. Take your arms out in front of you. Widen your knees and lengthen in child's pose. Take your time making your way back up through table. If you need a sip of water, or maybe just little bits of rounds of cat-cow or spinal movements, you take what you need. Whenever you are ready to get going, we'll come right up and back to downward facing dog. Resist the urge to take a 3-leg dog and instead simply pluck your right foot off the floor and step it forward for crescent lunge. A little bend in the back knee and the arms raise. With that softening of the back knee, it's allowing you to contain your front body a bit. Similar feeling of sinking the sternum, lengthening the sides of your waist, and moving your heart into the roof of your mouth. Now you can decide, hands still overhead. You could bring hands to hips or hands to your heart. I like hands on hips because it gives you an awareness of where your hips are in space. With everything square, inner thighs engaged, tap your left knee to the earth, squeeze your glute and lift. Again, tap and lift. One more and lift. Shift your weight to your right foot. If possible, we'll kick the left leg forward and then take a pistol squat. Bend your right knee, lower, lower, lower. You can reach your arms forward to help and sit down. All right. From here, we're going to work the entry, or I should say the bottom of pistol squat. Oftentimes, outside of balance, our pain point is that low range when we're trying to lift back out of the depth. So to work with that, we'll use some momentum by rolling backwards. As you come up, the idea is to think more about forward momentum. Reach forward for your foot rather than thinking up. So I'll show you what it looks like, and then we can try. The right knee will stay tucked into your chest the whole time. Take a roll back, forward, and lift. So we're not trying to balance in that place. We're not trying to linger. It's really just that lift and lower. As you do a few rounds, you might find you start to get the balance. You start to feel a little bit more engagement. And maybe there is a hover time there. But again, it's back into the roll, and we'll try again. So have some fun with it. Let's do a few rounds. Rock, reach. Always working with that forward momentum. Spread your toes. Acknowledge where the weight is in your standing foot. All right, on your next roll, come up to a seat and stay put. We'll go into a twist, and so you have an option to either keep fist distance between your foot and your thigh, or the right leg is going to drape up and over the left. Use this grip on your shin to sit up tall. Take a breath in, and then exhale, twist to the right. The left arm will hug onto the thigh while the right fingers tent behind you. Spiral your gaze past your right shoulder. If you have more space, you might hook your left elbow outside your knee with a field goal arm. One more full breath in. Exhale, come back around to center. Unravel your foot if it's crossed. Now we'll need to use the hands to help get us forward and onto the right foot. Your heel can lift. You might want blocks here underneath your hands. Otherwise, it's just tented fingertips to the ground. Push through your standing leg so you can slide your left foot back and through to supported warrior 3. Now slowly reach your left toes back to a lunge. Drop your back knee down, and we'll heel toe the right foot across the mat to the left. Drop your knee wide to the right and find your half pigeon. In this posture, you might like support, blanket, a block, maybe just a sweatshirt underneath your right hip. You could take other variations here as well, sitting off on the right hip, bringing your left knee forward, and then reclining. Otherwise, when you're feeling settled, go ahead and lower down. Enjoy this posture. Begin to rise up. Take your hands to the mat, tuck your back toes under, and you'll come back to a dog. If you need to circle out your right hip a little bit, feel free to take a circle or two in each direction. And eventually it's back to a nice, even down dog. On a breath in, we'll simply pluck the left foot off the floor, step it between your hands, and rise to crescent lunge. Feet should be hips width apart. That's going to give you the most stability. A little bend in the back knees. You can load the legs. Feel your navel drawing in, the sternum drawing in, and a containment of the front body. Squeeze your inner thighs together, and we'll take the right knee down to tap the earth. Lift and squeeze. Twice more, tap and lift. Last one, and lift. Take your hands down to your heart. We'll bring the right leg forward, kicking it straight if you can, and then we'll work down to that pistol squat. Bend the standing leg. You might reach the arms forward to counter the balance and come all the way down. All right, so we'll prep again for a few more of those rolls. The left knee will stay into your chest. We're remembering forward momentum, hands reaching forward. So whenever you're ready, rock it back, come forward and reach. Use the momentum to help get you right up on top of the left foot. Reach forward to get you where you want to be. And then we're relying on the power and strength of your legs to help push you up. Couple more rounds. All right, next time you come up, stay seated. Right leg is straight, the left knee is bent, and then it's either a fist distance between foot and leg, or you'll drape the left leg up and over. Hold your shin as you sit up tall. Take a full breath in. Exhale, twist to the left. Right arm hugs your leg as the left fingers tent behind. If you have farther to go, the right elbow comes outside in a field goal arm. And then it's equal pressure. Knee into elbow, elbow into knee. Keep your breath full. As you're ready, you'll slowly unravel back to center. Unweave the left leg. And then again, we'll need the hands to help come up onto the left foot. The heel can lift. Either tented fingers on the ground or maybe blocks under your hands. Keep the pressure in your hands as you extend your straight right leg back to supported warrior 3. Linger for a moment. And then you'll reach your right toes way, way, way back. Lower your back knee down. And we'll heel toe the left foot across to half pigeon. Drop your knee left. Make any adjustments you need. Add any support that you need. And eventually you'll crawl down to recline. Just a few more cycles of breath. When you're ready, we'll start to crawl ourselves back onto the palms, slide back to a downward facing dog, and if you need it, circle the left hip out 1 or 2 times in each direction. Couple breaths in an even down dog. Pull yourself forward to a plank pose, and then we'll lower all the way down to our belly. Reach your arms back behind you. Engage your legs, point your toes. All 10 toenails press down into the earth while the kneecaps lift. And then it's a breath in. Just the upper body lifts away from the ground. Continue reaching back. Palms squeeze in towards one another as if you had a block between your hands. Expand your belly into the earth in order to arc the spine a little bit higher. And then lower down, bring your right cheek to the earth and relax for a few breaths. We'll take that again. Gaze to center. Point your toes and zip your legs together. And then breathe in. The upper body lifts. Reach back through the fingers. Expand your belly to lift a little bit higher. And press your toenails down. Maintain easy breath. And can you draw your shoulder blades down the back any amount more? Take a breath out, lower down, left cheek to mat. Bring your gaze back towards center. The palms will come up, and you'll stack your hands with the elbows wide to make a little pillow for your forehead. Guide your right knee up towards your right elbow for half frog and relax here. Feel your breath expanding in the lower right abdomen into that space that you have. Now, if you're feeling comfortable here, you can stay put. You also could add a quad stretch. So if you've got a block handy, that could be useful. We'll bring that in so it can go underneath the left cheek. The right hand will come forward so you can thread the left arm underneath. And then it's a little bit of this twist. The right arm will come behind the back. This is a fine place to stay. You could also try bending your left knee. See if your right hand will reach your foot. And then draw the heel into your glute for the quad stretch. Be mindful of where your right shoulder is in space. Instead of rounding down, can you peel the shoulder open? Peel the rib cage open. Slowly release your foot. Come back around to square. Shift your block out of the way. And we'll simply switch by sliding the right leg long and hiking the left knee up towards the elbow for half frog. Allow your weight to settle into the earth. And feel the gentle rise and fall of your left outer hip. again, you can stay here if you like. Otherwise, we'll lift the head, bring the block in if you're using it. Place your left hand forward so your right arm can thread under. And then as you set your right cheek on the block, the left arm will come behind the back and you'll start this twist. Option to bend your right knee, reach back for your foot, and take the quad stretch. Gently release your right foot. Come back to square. Slide the block out of the way. Slide your left leg long and press back to a child's pose. Knees wide, feet together. All right, come back up through table. Swing your legs out in front of you. And we're going to come onto our back. If you have a strap, have that nearby so it's within reach. And then you can just gently lower yourself down. Grab behind your legs and roll your spine to the earth. Start by guiding your left knee towards your chest and extend your right leg forward. Take your left knee across your body to twist. A little shift of your hips to the left could be useful to stack one hip on top of the other. The left arm will reach wide as your right hand grounds your knee. Come right back to center. Grab your strap, and then we'll loop up the left foot. Extend your left leg straight up to the sky. And we'll use both hands to pull on the strap. Guide your left leg towards your face. And then we're mindful to spiral the right toes and kneecap towards the sky. Drag your left hip down and away from your shoulder. And then we'll take the strap in the right hand as close to your foot as drape your leg all the way over to the right. The same little lift of the hips and finding your twist. If you need a little more space, don't be shy about letting the strap slide between your hands. And same effort to draw the left hip down away from your shoulder to maintain length in the side waist. Come on back up through center. Even out your hips. Give your strap to the left hand, and the right hand will come onto your right hip. Open your left leg to the left without tipping off the pose. So we could try spiraling the toes towards the ground a little bit of the left leg. Right toes still aiming towards the sky and grounding through your right hip. Come straight back up through the middle. Bend your knee, put the strap off to the side, and we'll switch legs. The right knee in with the left leg forward. Guide your knee across for a twist. The hips will shift to the right. The right arm will reach wide, and the left hand will rest on your knee. Come on back to center. Grab the strap once again. Loop up your right foot and kick your leg high to sky. Both hands can pull on the strap. Be careful of the strap pulling you too much. So if the shoulders are lifting away from the ground, you see if you can draw them back down and further open the collarbones. Give the strap to your left hand up towards your foot. Draw your leg across for twist. And again, that same little shift of the hips. Right hip rolls down and away from the shoulder. Come back up to center. Give the strap to your right hand, left hand to hip, and you'll open the leg to the right. Be almost more concerned with the lift of the leg than how much it opens. Stay connected to your belly, to the grounding of your left thigh bone, the grounding of your left hip. Take it back to center. Bend your knee, release the strap, and for our final posture, find a happy baby. Once more, evening out the spine, pulling down on the feet with equal effort, kicking back up into the hands. Acknowledge if your spine is flat, and that includes your head. Right, a good tell is if the chin is charging towards the sky, then you might just narrow that down. Find more of the length even through the back of your neck. As you're ready, release your feet. Choose to extend your legs long into a corpse pose. And if you prefer, you could come up to an easy seat to close out with some seated meditation. I encourage you to stay for your final rest, whether that be a couple minutes or 10 minutes if you have the time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Namaste.